You're the one I was guarding. You're the one that matters. I'm along to guard or whatever you need. It's you who'll lead us. You who can get to wherever it is we must go and put right what's gone wrong." "Is it?" said the mage. "I'm just a poor wayfaring stranger traveling through..." Hi, this is Tara Blair, and welcome to Ivy Reads, a series in which I read to you some of my favorite scenes or short chapters of books that I've loved throughout my life, books that have really meant something deep to me. Or as the series goes on, I may get suggestions from some of the listeners or friends and family, books that have meant something really deep to them. Books that have really grabbed you deep in your soul for some reason. Those are the things that I want to be reading in this little series. But I'm not reading them as a professional audiobook narrator. I am reading them as I want to share a book with you. I am reading them as I want to sit by a fireplace with a glass of wine in each of our hands and share with you a book I have loved with full enthusiasm of my own voice invested in the book to try and get you as excited about the book as I am. That's what I'm trying to do with this series. If you want to hear my professional work, I suggest you go to my audiobook sample page and listen to especially the very first file I have there. This series, however, is not a representation of how I sound professionally because a professional audiobook narrator does not put their own voice into the book and does not read fast and laugh and occasionally add editorial asides. This is a selection from Ursula K. Guin's The Farthest Shore, which is the third book in the Earthsea trilogy. And I'm reading a lot of Le Guin right here at the beginning of the series because we lost her this year, and her loss was profoundly affecting for me. I can't explain how deeply her books made their way into the fabric of my imagination. So lots of Le Guin right now, and then lots of my favorite other sci-fi and speculative fiction authors in the future. Here we go. The Farthest Shore. A little longer and the fog began to thin and tatter, blowing by in the dark. They came out under the stars, and silent as a moth, Look-Far fled through the clear night over the sea. Sparrowhawk had covered Arren with blankets and given him water. He sat with his hand on the boy's shoulder when Arren fell suddenly to weeping. Sparrowhawk said nothing, but there was a gentleness, a steadiness in the touch of his hand. Comfort came slowly into Arren. Warmth, the soft motion of the boat, heart's ease. He looked up at his companion. No unearthly radiance clung to the dark face. He could barely see him against the stars. The boat fled on, charm-guided. Waves whispered as if in surprise along her sides. "Who is the man with the collar? Lie still. A sea robber, eager. He wears that collar to hide a scar where his throat was slit once. It seems his trade has sunk from piracy to slaving. But he took the bear's cub this time." There was a slight ring of satisfaction in the dry, quiet voice. "How did you find me?" "Wizardry, bribery. I wasted time. I did not like to let it be known that the Archmage and Warden of Roke was ferreting about the slums of Horttown. I wish still I could have kept up my disguise, but I had to track down this man and that man, and when at last I found the slaver had sailed before daybreak, I lost my temper. I took Look-Far and spoke the wind into her sail in the dead calm of the day and glued the oars of every ship in that bay fast into the oarlocks. For a while. How they'll explain that if wizardry is all lies and air is their problem. But in my haste and anger, I missed and overpassed eager ship, which had gone east of south to miss the shoals. Ill done was all I did this day. There is no luck in Horttown. Well, I made a spell of finding at last, and so came on the ship in the darkness. Should you not sleep now? I'm all right. I feel much better. A light fever had replaced Arren's chill, and he did indeed feel well, his body languid but his mind racing lightly from one thing to another. How soon did you wake up? What happened to Hare? I woke with daylight, and lucky I have a hard head. There's a lump and a cut like a split cucumber behind my ear. I left Hare in the drug sleep. I failed my guard, but not by falling asleep. No, Arren hesitated. You were ahead of me. I saw you, Sparrowhawk said strangely. And so they crept in and tapped us on the head like lambs at the shambles, took gold, good clothes, and the saleable slave, and left. It was you they were after, lad. You'd fetch the price of a farm in Arren Market. They didn't tap me hard enough. I woke up. I did give them a run. I spilt their loot all over the street, too, before they cornered me. Arren's eyes glittered. You woke while they were there and ran? Why? To get them away from you. The surprise in Sparrowhawk's voice suddenly struck Arren's pride, and he added fiercely, I thought it was you they were after. I thought they might kill you. I grabbed their bags so they'd follow me and shouted out and ran. And they did follow me. Aye, they would. That was all Sparrowhawk said. No word of praise, though he sat and thought a while. Then he said, Did it not occur to you I might be dead already? No. Murder first and rob after is the safer course. I didn't think of that. I only thought of getting them away from you. Why? Because you might be able to defend us, to get us both out of it if you had time to wake up, or get yourself out of it anyway. I was on guard, and I failed my guard. I tried to make up for it. You're the one I was guarding. You're the one that matters. I'm along to guard or whatever you need. It's you who'll lead us. You who can get to wherever it is we must go and put right what's gone wrong. Is it? Said the maid. I thought so myself until last night. I thought I had a follower, but I followed you, my lad. His voice was cool and perhaps a little ironic. Arren did not know what to say. He was, indeed, completely confused. He had thought that his fault of falling into sleep or trance on guard could scarcely be atoned by his feat of drawing off the robbers from Sparrowhawk. It now appeared that the latter had been a silly act, whereas going into a trance at the wrong moment had been wonderfully clever. I'm sorry, my lord, he said at last, his lips rather stiff, and the need to cry not easily controlled again, that I failed you, and you have saved my life. And you mine, baby, said the maid harshly. Who knows? They might have slit my throat when they were done. No more of that, Arren. I'm glad you are here with me. He went to their stores box then, and lit their little charcoal stove, and busied himself with something. Arren lay and watched the stars, and his emotions cooled and his mind ceased racing. And he saw then that what he had done and what he had not done were not going to receive judgment from Sparrowhawk. He had done it. Sparrowhawk accepted it as done. I do not punish, he had said, cold-voiced to eager. Neither did he reward. But he had come for Arren in all haste across the sea, unleashing the power of his wizardry for his sake. And he would do so again. He was to be depended on. He was worth all the love Arren had for him and all the trust. For the fact was that he trusted Arren. What Arren did was right. Oh, how I love that end passage. That's why I read that whole scene. There's something so unself-conscious about the way Le Guin wrote Arren's love for Sparrowhawk. If you read that in a modern book, it would be slightly apologetic, I think. that Arren, just making sure that Arren's love wasn't, unhealthy in some way. And no, it is utterly pure, the infatuation one has for a mentor that is nothing but respect and awe and a desire to be near somebody simply for their greatness, simply for the opportunity to be near them. And I could say all kinds of things about the journey Arren takes in the Farthest Shore, from this really innocent infatuation to a loss of faith to a, almost becoming an equal, or at least you can see on the horizon that Arren will be the equal of Sparrowhawk in stature. Yes, I could write a whole paper on that. But that's not why I read this passage. I read this passage because it's the moment in which Arren truly understands what it is that he's experiencing, and in that moment of truly understanding it for what it is, gives himself over to it completely. What a beautiful, beautiful moment. And written with such simplicity and complete lack of embellishment. Oh, God. Ursula Le Guin, man. Every book, a feast of poetry. Every word in the right place and nothing extra. The most uncluttered and yet beautiful poetic prose I have ever read. Someone on Twitter today, a sci-fi author, made a comment to the effect, with some cussing, that people should not say that the only way science fiction could be considered good was when it had transcended its genre and was could be considered a piece of literature outside the realm of science fiction. And I answered with my own response. I think there may have been cursing in my response, too, saying, absolutely yes. I mean, not only does science fiction deserve to stand alongside any literary fiction ever written, because there are unbelievably good authors littering the entire genre, but because it is not a genre that has to justify itself for existing. And it's long since past time that should be the case. So, a little tiny. I told you there would be pieces of my opinion in these Ivy Reads pieces. I have to say, reading Ursula Le Guin's nonfiction, there's a lot of me in it. Oh, I take such glee in her nonfiction. But reading her fiction, I almost can't do anything other than read it, as if I would in an audiobook. I think my audiobook approach would be less inflected, for sure, especially when reading Ged. My concept of Ged would be a very steady, reliable as a rock kind of inflection and pace and pauses. Not all the time. I mean, when he's complaining about having to go about in Horttown and give himself away, of course, he would be irked. And that would be a great moment to break that consistent voice for Ged. To show him as, a little bit human, which is a really, really important part of this scene. Because Arren has, in this moment, really grasps what it is he feels for Ged, and that he feels it no matter what reveal of humanity Ged may be giving. So, yeah, I would have Ged be a little bit expressive there. But my main change to this passage, if I were to read it in full audiobook form, probably would be to give Arren a little more emotion, not dramatic emotion, really restrained emotion. It's just damn hard to do in performance, and it takes a lot of focus, and that is not what I am here for. I am here to put these words across and say, oh my God, please read these books. I hope you have enjoyed this wonderful piece of Le Guin, a section from The Farthest Shore, the third book in the Earthsea trilogy. This is Ivy Tara Blair, and I wish for you only the best. She said she'd meet me when I come. So I'm just going over Jordan. I'm just going over Jordan. I'm just